Back to another fun and exciting benchmark here at SCIS Middle School, Design Technology, and we are looking at benchmark 3, part H and F, or the part arm, and the arm supports. Here's the arm, and here's the support. So now, if you look at this, this is just the top-down look of the arm, and here is the side look of the arm. I think it's important for us to model this after the top-down, and the first thing we're going to do is to size this correctly. And if you recall from the small discrepancies that we encountered in previous benchmarks, we want to be able to resize this model according to which the length or the width needs to be more accurate. Sophie, the length, correct. So I'm going to use my tape measure tool, scroll down here to about this point until it's about right there in the center. Click once, and I'm going to move this all the way over here to this point, scroll in, about into the center, click, and it's going to ask me for which value do I want to resize, and the value is 800 millimeter, and press enter. Do you want to resize the model? The correct answer is Dway Boudway? Dway, yes, we want to resize that model. Very good. Now, take a look at here. That model is now resized, and we are ready to begin. Like I said before, we probably want to start here, but before we start this little process, I probably want to go ahead and change my axis. Who can tell me, where should my axis be placed? Carl!
Right there, like down.
Here?
No, like
Here? Yeah, that's a place we can put one. Where else?
Like opposite one. Not
Here?
Yeah.
I honestly think this is a better place. Only because it allows us to really use the straight lines here for this point here, whereas this one kind of curves straight out. So I'm going to make my axis, zoom in on this area, click once, draw my red. Actually, I don't really like that point for the axis because I want to get it into a nice sort of, here we go. That's about right. So put my red, put my green, and my blue comes up pretty nicely. That looks pretty decent, if I may say so myself. And now we start the process of building. Snap, snap-a-roo. See, that follows a beautiful green axis. Boom. Now this looks like it curves slightly, doesn't it? But I think it's more if we just kind of stick to sort of tangential lines here. Like here. And maybe if we, it finishes off pretty nicely, I think. And I'm just going to kind of hover over this to infer that line. See? Never want to leave anything up to chance. And there we have it. Now, this has to raise, if you look at this side view, 44 millimeters up, 45 millimeters. That is a pretty thick arm. Are we right on this?
I think it might not be very flat. I think it's the width. Yeah, I think
It's the width. Are we right here? I don't know.
won't it say on the...
It should, yes, you're right. When all else fails, let's go back to our measurements. And the arm says 45 millimeters in height. Yeah, that's a pretty big arm, if you ask me. But now we can see that we need to cut out a groove here about this line, and if we measure this, and we'll measure it from like the point here in fact, what we can do actually is just draw a quick little, actually, you know, I think the measuring tape is actually a good idea. I'm just going to measure it from here to this point there, then take my pencil, let it snap on this line, and you can see If I can finally snap it on this, where are you? Or maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe snap it here to there, and there to there, and that length is about 100 millimeters. Guys see? 100 millimeters. But we also have to consider the angle here. What is the angle? And how can we find that angle? What tool do you need in your tools here to find the angle? The what? That's close. It does have sort of a protractor, but you're looking for the actual protractor. Do you guys even use protractors anymore? Where is it? Scale? Tape? Ah, the old trusty protractor. Click on Mr. Protractor. Mr. Protractor. Click once to anchor that point. Click one more, and we're going to raise that protractor until it tells us it is about 22.5 degrees. 22.5 degrees in a total of, could be potentially many more degrees. But this is 22.5 degrees. So, knowing that information, let us go back over here. Start from this point here. Protractor. Click to anchor. 1. Raise 22.5. Enter. Ah. Did someone say Monet? Now, that's just a protractor line. Doesn't affect anything, but if I click using my pencil there, follow that to the intersection point there, and I draw a fine line right around here, and I can then push-pull that out. But look what happens. Does anyone know why this happens?
Because you're on the wrong side.
Yeah, that's one reason I could have done it on the wrong side, but why else? I think if I was to do it on the other side, I think I might have gotten a similar problem as well. Yes? It's not a complete square anymore. If you remember, we cut this at an angle now. So even at this angle, it may not come out the way we want it to come out. So let's try the other side, like Kai was saying, and see if that will make a difference, or if we run into a similar problem. Let's go here. Click, click, and 22.5. Let's draw the line there to the intersection and push-pull this out. But you see, again, we don't get that perfect sort of thing. So we have to be smart about this. How are we going to be smart about it? What do you think we need to do? Suggestions. We can try to finish this. But that doesn't really work so well, does it? We can try cutting it out. That's right. Selecting individual faces. But then look what happens there. You erase the top portion. Right. We can do that. No, but you know what? Not a big deal, because essentially, what's missing here? That line, right? Ah. Very good, Daniel-san. Very good. Just remember back from that old video that we were seeing before. That old video that we saw before that talked about what you need in order to create a shape. You need to complete. What we did here is that we healed, H-E-A-L-E-D, healed this object because we had taken away one line, but then we healed it again. You guys get it? Healing? Healing? Anyway, there we have it. We have our arm and we're ready to go. And all we got to do now is create the strut or this support. Again, I probably want to take my, take my line and turn it the other way this time. And then go about creating my back support there. And this gets raised, I think, 22. When you're finished, you probably want to get rid of all your little measurement lines. Then use your dimension tool. Probably focus it over here this time because this is a nice little angle. Here, there to about there. Click. That looks kind of weird. Yeah, there we go. And that should be 800.3. That is pretty good, at least under there. And then we do it on this side. A measurement tool, I'll probably start it from this point here to there. Move that out that way. And you can see that I have my measurements there, and I would do the same over there. So that I can have nice measurements. And if you want to be really cool, you could also do the measurements from top here and move that out over there. So that I got my cool measurements ready to go, and you could show it off to me and to everybody else. Components. Oh, and that's right. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Sophie. Make this a component. This is called the chair arm. Create, and then add my little label, my little labelicious, and that looks about right. What happened to like my measurements? I have no idea.
You made them when you were like next to the
Yeah, there we go.
You saw that little triangle on the back.
Don't worry about that triangle.
Just change the name.
Make component, chair arm. Oh, you know what happened? Because the component squeezes everything onto it, it will squeeze the measurements, because I made the measurements according to that. But that's okay. We can just delete the measurements and then just redo them again without a big deal. Just make them outside of the component this time. And there you go. Then we add a little label. And you take a picture. And then you do the same for the other one. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. Enjoy.